So I'm walking through Costco a few weeks ago, and I see this cedar wooden planter box on sale for 150 bucks. I'm sure they sold thousands of these things. Well, a few days go by, and I get this text from a friend, Kelly. She says, "Hey, I was at Costco and I saw this wooden planter box. Can you make me one?" Well, I could, but not one like that. Boxes like this have lots of problems. First of all, it's ugly.
Who you calling ugly, sucker?
It's boring. It's just a box with legs, a coffin without a lid. Number two, it's unfinished. Even though the wood is cedar, you do need to protect the wood inside and out. Inside, dirt and moisture is touching the wood. Wood, dirt, and water don't make for a long-lasting relationship. If you don't have a protective finish on them, they're going to look like garbage in a couple of years. Number three, drainage. If you keep this thing outside or on your porch and you don't have drainage, and you get a heavy downpour, it can fill the box up with water and then spill over the sides. And even if it does have drainage, it's going to drip that dirty water all over your porch. Number four, these things are made fairly cheaply. The pressure of the dirt is going to start to push against the walls, and being unfinished, this thing is going to start to break down. I'll bet in 2 to 3 years, I'm going to be finding these things in the alleys. So the challenge is on. I'm about to make the best porch planter box you have ever seen. I don't have specific design plans for my idea, but I do like to work off of a basic sketch, so I'll have an idea of the basic dimensions. I googled planter boxes and found this one I like, which I'm going to use as an inspiration for my design. I should already have all the wood I need to build this project, except for the outside of the box, so I went to Home Depot to look for something specific. These tongue and groove 3/4 inch thick boards are perfect. I found this 2x10 treated board in the garbage can at Lowe's hardware store. I guess someone thought it was unsellable with this partial split down the middle. It works for me. I'll use it to build the frame. Now you might be saying to yourself, "Tom, you shouldn't be using treated lumber for a planter box because there's chemicals in the wood to prevent rot. And you don't want the dirt you're growing herbs in to be pulling in leached chemicals from the wood." This is true. So I have two solutions which you're going to see during the build process. Number one, I'm going to be coating the inside and out of my project using 2 coats of a quality deck stain. And number two, I'm going to be lining the inside of the planter box with this. It's a thick, heavy-duty plastic material I bought at Hobby Lobby. It was the thickest they had. If you haven't seen one of these sanding blocks before, they're very handy, and they've got many uses, including rounding off the sharp edges of the wood. With basic measurements in hand, I'll start the assembly of the frame. I keep the boards held together with clamps while I use these long deck screws to hold them together. Now that I have the frame together, I'll start to wrap it with the tongue and groove deck boards. The nice thing about this design is that if you decide to make one for yourself, it can be longer, shorter, taller, lower, wider. You can build it to fit your space. For the bottom shelf slats, I'm using this fence picket that someone threw in the garbage. I space them equally and then I'll tack them in with a nail gun. I'll come back later and add some deck screws. You probably want to avoid using glue on a project like this if you plan to keep it outside. Here I'm cutting the slats for the trellis. All the wood I'm using I either found or people gave me, which was left over from some of their projects. When people know that you are a saver and actually use everything, you start getting requests for their unneeded tools and leftover materials.
Hey, wait! Stop! I have garbage!
I'm building a frame for the inside base. It'll need to be on a slant to the right, where I'll also be cutting a drain hole, then installing a PVC pipe with a hose fitting on the end so the water can drain anywhere I like. I'm installing the plastic liner, but I'm only going to staple it in at the top to keep it watertight, except right above the PVC pipe where I'll cut a hole so the water can drain out. I'll then cover up the top edge to hide the staples with a wood cap. Once I had everything assembled, I stepped back and took a good look at it. It did need a couple more finishing touches. I cut out a design on the bottom front edge so it would look more like a piece of furniture rather than a box. And finally, this gold acrylic nameplate, which I carved using my diode laser. That's the perfect finishing touch. Now it's time to reveal this build to my friend Kelly. One, two, three.
Oh, how beautiful! Oh, look at how nice Kelly's garden. Oh, that is so nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And that's what the perfect raised herb garden should look like.
Ellie picked. Ta-da! Be sure to subscribe and like this video. Thank you and good night.